This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
So this week I matched Triona and Richard, both in their 40s. Richard is a few years older than Triona and works in IT, and Triona in the civil service. They are both based in North Cork and at a similar stage in life. They both have children and both are very clear that they're not looking to go again, so no difficult conversations there. They also have a very similar pace of life. They both lean more towards the simple things, walks, getting out for a bit of fresh air, heading away for a night somewhere, or just spending quality time together without a big fuss. They're both looking for a good connection with someone. From a personality point of view, we thought that they would work because they're both quite grounded and easygoing. Triona said she's looking for someone who is good company, easy to be around and has a good sense of humour. Richard said he wants somebody kind, confident and someone who is able to laugh at themselves. There was also lifestyle compatibility. They're both non-smokers, neither of them are big drinkers, so there won't be anybody overdoing it on a night out and getting under the other one's skin. Something funny to note is that there is a significant height difference here. Richard is over a foot taller than Triona, which made me go, okay, maybe I'm not too sure that this might be a good fit. But they were looking really good in other aspects. So I thought, what is a foot between friends? Anyway, Richard did say that although he's tall, he wanted somebody under 5'8", so that he could make himself useful getting things from the top shelf. So I took that as a green light. And what gal doesn't want a tall man anyway? So the big question is, did it work out on the date? Triona, hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you. How are you?
Thank you so much for doing this. Are you nervous about being on a podcast?
A little bit, because I've never done anything like this before. So it's all new.
Yeah,
but look,
fair enough.
It's a conversation. It's a telephone call, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. And you're a great sport. Fair play to you. Can you give me and everyone listening just a bit of background, I suppose, just on your dating life and relationships and things like that?
Okay, so I've been single almost 2 years now. And I jumped straight back into dating because I was so done with my previous relationship. It was very toxic. I was very glad to get out of it. It was, the writing was on the wall for a long time. And there was a bit of cheating on his side, not on mine. So I drew a line under that and I moved on. I was turning 40 the following year. I said, you know what? I'm just going to throw myself back out there. So I went on Tinder and I've lost count the amount of dates I've had.
What do you think? Well, if you had to guess, I obviously went on 55 over 2.5 years.
I don't think it's 55, but I'd say it's in the 30s.
Fair play to you. Go for it.
I've probably forgotten a lot of them. Names, I won't remember. I won't remember any of their names unless he made an impression on me. But as I was saying to you, that location that we were talking about, I kind of lure men there. That's my dating location. I'm very comfortable there. So I've met so many men. I don't have any dramatic stories or crazy dating stories. The vast majority of men I've met have been lovely. And first dates usually go well. Like, I haven't wanted to cut any of the dates short. So still hope there for Tinder. But
that's actually very good going out. 30-something dates, you actually didn't want to get away from any of them. Like, you were just thinking, no, these are all fine. These are all grand men.
Yeah, I find with men on the first date, let them talk. They love to talk. Men are quite egocentric, and I don't mean that in a horrible way, but they like to talk about themselves, and you learn a lot about people when you just listen. I'd be quite good to listen, and I've always been told, oh, you're very easy to talk to. So yeah, I'll just listen away. Now, I'm not completely mute for the date either. I do like to give my 2 cents, and I do like when there's questions and I'll ask questions, and it has to be a two-way conversation. But when you let them flow, they'll talk to you. They'll tell you a lot more, I think, than they'd expect to tell you about them. So I kind of know after the first date if I want to meet the person again. And then after the first date, then the questions start. Then they get to more interested in you and what you're about. Now, I don't think I've gotten out of the 2 years on Tinder. I don't think I've gotten beyond date number 5. So nothing has, relationship-wise, nothing has ever come of it. But I like to stay positive. I can reflect back and say, yeah, I met some really nice men. I didn't meet scary men or weird men or anything like that.
How many years was it? 2 years?
About 2 years, coming up on 2 years now. So I did get ghosted a few times. That's a common theme, is getting ghosted. Like,
so disrespectful.
After the first date, I don't care who texts first. I'm not into that. Oh, he should text first. No, it's whoever. It's a timing issue. So I usually will text first, and then you get a good idea of where you're
Well,
going
fair play. You're
with them.
obviously like quite confident in yourself and everything. Like fair play to you. You don't care. You're not playing games.
No, definitely not. I'm too long in the tooth for that. I'm not saying I probably did that in my 20s, but I've a bit of life experience now. I'm in my 40s.
Mm-hmm.
You get tired of that. It doesn't get you anywhere. And I think it affects your mental health as well, which is so important. I like to take care of my mind,
Yes.
as well as physically, obviously. But I do like to protect myself, and I'd be quite guarded in that way. But I also want to be genuine and meet genuine people. I'm not asking for much, really, to be fair.
Like you seem like you have a great head on your shoulders anyway. So like I'm surprised, somebody hasn't manifested themselves for you at this stage, Because like you see, like from all of the dealings that I've had with you, you're great, you're chatty, good head on your shoulders, but sometimes these things just, take a good bit of time, like, what do they say? It's a numbers game.
Yeah, exactly. Look, it probably is a timing issue. Just I haven't met him yet. Now, as I said, I've met lovely men, and I've met men who've been interested in me and very interested in me, but the attraction from my side just wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's disappointing. As much as I wish I was attracted to them, I'm not going to waste their time. But I will tell them that. I will extend that courtesy and text them and say, look, it's not working out. And 9 out of 10 times, you don't ever hear from them again, which they accept what you said, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, like even my own case with the 55, there would have been a few in there that I wanted to proceed with and they didn't want to proceed with me, and then times when they wanted to proceed with me and I didn't want to proceed with them. And I think it's like you obviously both need to like each other,
yes,
the kind of the same amount and a good bit in order to go forward. And I think the chances of that happening, like it's slim enough, for both people to feel strongly and equally the same about the other one. So it is tough. But
it is, and it's such an unnatural environment as well. I don't know, like my parents met through pen pals. Tinder's kind of the same thing.
So pen pals is in the back of the paper, is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, hilarious. Would they come on the podcast to talk about it? What a story. I love that.
Yeah, so my dad's in his 90s now. So they're married 46 years, met through pen friends.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Do you have it saved? Like, what they wrote? Do you know what they said about each other
or
about themselves?
No, my parents wouldn't be like that. That's as much as they taught me. And they'd be very old school mentality. Don't discuss stuff like that.
Fair play to them. And no blind dates anyway. You didn't go on any blind dates. This was the first one, was it?
This was the first one, and I followed your account on TikTok, and it popped up. I was like, do you know what? I'm up to try anything. I was actually on a break from Tinder because when you get to the point where you're frustrated, it's time to stop, because it's not fair on the people that you're talking to and meeting, because they're not getting your best self.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on a break, and I'd never done a matchmaker before, saw that, filled out the application form. I said, I'll give it a go. And then you made a video maybe a month later, and you said that if I haven't been in contact, I have no match for you. I was like, nobody out there for me at all. And then you emailed me. I was delighted. Very pleased with my decision. I said, sure, look, nobody can accuse me for not trying anyway.
Exactly. If you're not in, you can't win.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about getting set up on the blind date? Were you nervous going into it, or were you okay?
No.
You weren't nervous?
No. I feel like I'm a veteran now in the dating world. I wasn't nervous at all.
And you're in your usual spot as well, your usual haunt to bring them in, so you're nice and comfortable. Yeah,
I had a good run of the place, knew where I was going. It says, not confident. I wouldn't call myself confident, just more comfortable and content.
Yes.
I was more worried about that I had met him before, because that's actually why I took a break from Tinder. I was frustrated, but I was seeing men that had met already. I was like, I've actually run out of men.
Oh, stop.
So they had deleted their accounts, obviously, and created a new one. And that's why they were showing up for me again. So I've actually run out of men. And I was joking with my friends about that. What if he's somebody I met before? And you had said, maybe it was just, it's a second go. Maybe it was meant to be. But anyway, I hadn't met this man before.
Well, that's good. And you actually don't live that far away from each other, so I'm surprised at that.
No, a stone's throw. It's no distance whatsoever.
How far is your distance on Tinder, though? Do you think you have it too, short? That
no.
It's rotating through the same men again?
No, because one fella actually said to me, he goes, my distance much shorter. I don't know how you came up for me. And he was in a whole other county. It's fairly broad because
Is it, yeah?
I've played around with my account a good bit to kind of open my horizons because I don't mind traveling. I'm a driver. I love to drive. No problem traveling. Very open to all different kinds of people and whatnot. So no,
Good.
I don't think so.
Good way to be. Right, so go on, talk us through the date from the start, first impressions, and you landing down there and seeing him and how everything went.
Yeah, so I pulled up the picture. Because the way people, they can look a little bit different from their photo, but you'd have a fair idea of where they are. So I walked through the place where I was to meet him and couldn't see him. There was a bunch of old ladies having tea and said hello to them and held doors open and whatnot. They were having a great time, but I couldn't see any men whatsoever. Walked back through the foyer. I was like, do you know what? I'll just wait at the door because I was a little bit early. I said, maybe he's just running a bit late. So I stood at the door. I was sending my friend a voice message. I was like, what if I've been stood up or something? But no, he'd been sitting out in like the veranda, the smoking area. He'd been sitting there. So he walked over to the front door and met me there. Now, the first thing he did was laugh at me. I was like, okay, maybe he's just nervous. Maybe it's an uncomfortable laugh. I don't know. But I was like, whoever.
Oh, for what?
I don't know. And he says, yeah, I was sitting over there. He said, I thought you stood me up. I was like, no, not at all. So we walked over. It was a fabulous sunny day. It was very, very hot. So we went in. He said, I'm not interested in having food. I said, that's totally fine. Neither am I. I said, we'll have a coffee. So we got a coffee. He paid. I said, thank you very much. I had my card out ready to go. I don't really care who pays, once the business is paid.
Yeah.
So went back out into the smoking area and there was very few people around. There was one or two people sitting down having their coffee and we just chatted very casually. There was no lull in the conversation. Again, as expected, he did most of the talking and I just sat there and listened. He told me a lot about himself. And then, after a while, you get kind of tired of listening to somebody talk and you kind of interject with something, or you might meet halfway. It's like, oh, I can relate to this, and you tell them some story from your life or whichever. But I thought our conversation flowed quite well, and we had similar views on things, similar life experiences in similar places with our lives. Because in around the same age, I thought we had a lot in common. He didn't ask me too many questions. Well, he asked me 2 questions during the whole date, and one was how tall I was.
Oh God!
Because a good bit taller than me, so I told him how tall I was.
About over a foot in between you.
Yeah,
but he had kind of specified that he had wanted somebody under 5'8" and made a joke that because he's so tall, he wanted to be useful and get things off the top shelf. So then I was like, okay, well, he doesn't have an issue with like a much shorter woman.
Yeah.
To hear the full episode, sign up at headstuffpodcast.com or click the link in the description.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.